Why do couples keep having the same fight over and over again? And is there a way of finally breaking free from that cycle? Same argument, different day. You promise yourself we're not going to do this again. And yet there you are, same tone, same frustration, same outcome. If you feel like you and your partner keep having the same fight on repeat, then you're not alone. My name's Rick Cardwell. I'm a psychodynamic counsellor, therapist, and I specialise in couples and relationship therapies. Now, I want to explain to you in this video, short video, about this pattern really, this cycle of going around having the same fight, the same disagreements and the arguments, why that is, but more importantly, I'm going to tell you how to break that cycle and give you the information so you understand how that works and how you can actually break the cycle of going round through the same disagreements over and over again. So this is one of the most common patterns couples bring into therapy, and there's a very real reason that it happens. And today we're going to unpack why this cycle keeps repeating and what's going on beneath the surface, and more importantly, how you can start breaking the pattern for good. So on the surface, these arguments often seem small. It might be about household chores, how much time you spend together, communication styles, the way you speak to each other, tone of voice, or who did or didn't do something. And because the topic seems minor, it can feel a bit confusing as to why this escalates. But here's the key insight. What you're actually arguing about is not the dishes or the text message or the timing. You're arguing about what that moment represents emotionally. What's being triggered? So underneath these repeated arguments are deeper emotional triggers. And they look like this: feeling unappreciated, feeling ignored, feeling rejected, feeling controlled, or feeling like you're not a priority. These are powerful emotional experiences, and often they're tied to past experiences, attachment styles, or long-standing insecurities. So when your partner forgets something or responds in a certain tone, your brain doesn't even register the event. It asks a question, and what it asks is, what does this mean about how they feel about me? And suddenly the situation feels much bigger than it actually is. Now, this is a repeating cycle, and here's where the patterns fall. Let's break it down. Something small happens. For example, your partner doesn't reply to a message. It triggers a deeper feeling. For example, I'm not important. You then react to that feeling: frustration, criticism, withdrawal. Your partner reacts to your reaction: defensiveness, shutting down. And their reaction reinforces your original feelings. See, you just don't care. And just like that, the cycle resets. The next time something similar happens, the emotional response is quicker, stronger, and more automatic. You develop almost a skill of creating the cycle that you keep going round in through repetition. You're no longer responding to the moment, you're responding to the pattern, you're responding to the cycle you've created. So you can ask the question, well, why does this keep happening? And you could also ask why couples just don't fix it. Now, there's a few key reasons. The first reason is you're focusing on the wrong problem. You're trying to solve the surface issue, not the emotional meaning behind it. You're reacting, not reflecting. In the moment, your brain goes into protection mode, not understanding mode. So you don't feel fully heard or understood. So because of that, you keep repeating the argument, hoping this time it will land differently. You're both unintentionally maintaining the cycle, and each person, their reaction fuels the others. Now, here's the important part. Neither of you is the problem. The problem is the pattern. The problem is the cycle that you have developed through lack of understanding and through repetition. So, how then do you start to break the cycle that's creating the problems? Now, breaking this cycle doesn't happen by chance. It happens through awareness and intentional change. So here are some practical steps you can start to use. The first thing that you should do is identify the pattern, not just the argument. Instead of asking, what are we fighting about? Ask, what keeps happening between us? Try to notice who reacts first, what emotions show up, how the argument escalates. Awareness is the first step to break that cycle, to get out of that loop. Understanding it, asking the questions, and being aware that that cycle's there. Secondly, name the deeper feelings. When you're triggered, pause, slow down, and ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? What does this situation mean to me emotionally? For example, instead of you never listen to me, try when that happens, I feel like I don't matter. Now, that shift, that's a change in perspective, same situation, but you're now viewing it from a different angle by a different statement, by causing each other to reflect on how you're feeling instead of what you're reacting to. And thirdly, you should slow down the reaction. You don't need to respond immediately. That immediate response are the subconscious, repetitive things that we've always done. They're the things creating the cycle. So slow down, take a breath, create a pause. Every few seconds can help you move from reacting to responding. Take that break, take that time. Now, the fourth tip I would give you is get curious about your partner. Instead of assuming their intent, ask, what's going on for you in that moment? What were you feeling? Curiosity reduces their defensiveness, their reaction to defend themselves, and opens the door to further understanding. So you should be aware that you should work as a team against the pattern. It's not you versus your partner, it's both of you versus the cycle. Now, once you can both recognise the pattern, you can interrupt it together and break it. The role of therapy is helping couples slow this process down. We look at what each person is feeling, what they need, how their actions are shaping the cycle. And most importantly, we help both partners feel seen, heard and understood, often in ways they have never experienced before. And that's a great environment to break that cycle with deeper understanding and mutual agreement between all the parties. Because once the emotional layer is understood, the argument loses its intensity. So if you recognise the pattern, you're no longer stuck inside it. And that's when real change becomes possible, with more awareness, more clarity and more intention. Because breaking the cycle doesn't happen by chance, it happens through knowledge and understanding. So if this has resonated with you, make sure that you like the video and subscribe for more insights on relationships, communication and emotional well-being. And please feel free to share this with someone who might need it, because understanding these patterns can make a real difference. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another video that hopefully you find useful tomorrow.